How's it going, everyone? Mick Ambrose from AllAboutTech. Welcome back to another video. It is time. The wait is over. This video is part one of question time with Richard Ells from Electroneum. Just before I get into it, I just want to do the giveaway results for my 1000 Electroneum giveaway that I started last week. I would have done it last night, but I had to stay at work for a couple extra hours because of staffing shortages. So we're going to find out exactly who the winner is now. Just while I'm picking the winner, I just want to say that this question time wouldn't have been achievable without the collaboration with the Reddit moderators that put together the questions, sent them over, and really helped organise this. So a big shout out to them. This isn't just me. This was a collaboration between different entities to make this happen. So I really hope you enjoy it. DeGamesVanGideon, congratulations, you won 1000 Electroneum. I will send it over to that Electroneum address right now. And without further ado, let's get straight into the part one of question time with Richard Ells. Hi, how's it going, everyone? Mick Ambrose from AllAboutTech. Welcome back to another video. As you can see, I've come down to the Electroneum office today. I'm here with Richard Ells, CEO of Electroneum, and today we're going to do a kind of Q&A. So on the Reddit post, the community have been asking some questions, and Richard Ells has been kind enough to allow me to come down today and film a Q&A with him. So first, pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely, nice to meet you, Mick. It's going to be good. There's loads of people out there asking questions. Be nice to get through some of them, and you've obviously got a lot of following. Love what you're doing, so it's nice to work with you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Awesome stuff. So we're going to get straight into it with the first question, which is, can you please briefly explain how working with the unbanked is so important?
Okay. Well, I think it's important for people to understand that we've got cryptocurrencies out there galore, and the people are looking at different tech and they're looking at different things, but the whole space is just covered in investors, speculators. There's nobody really out there that is actually trying to get users. And so we've got a good tech stack now. It's all working well. What we need to do is find people who want to use it. But the people in the Western world, obviously there are developed nations outside the West, but if we call it the Western world, the richer part of the world, they are less incentivized to use a cryptocurrency, to use something that's new and developing, because they already have so many other ways to pay. So in your pocket, you've probably got 3 at least different ways to pay for something in a shop, most of which you'll have contactless on 1 or 2 cards, 3 or 4 cards even. You may well have Apple Pay or Google Pay on your phone as well. So there's a number of different things that you'll have as ways to pay. Now, if you go across to the unbanked of the world, and that generally speaking means the developed nations, not necessarily, but generally the developing nations, sorry, what you'll find is that those people have no digital way to pay at all. Now, some of them have been inventive, and they're using mobile minutes to pay for things. So so effectively it almost becomes a barter with something that is a digital way to pay. So people are being able to SMS their mobile minutes to each other, but it's not a structured way to pay for things in a digital format. And when we reached out to the mobile operators around the world, we were surprised at just how receptive they were to a globalized method of digital payments for these people. And primarily their reason for that is because it's a much easier way for people to buy mobile minutes if they can do so. Because at the moment what you have to do is they have to take cash to a vendor. And when I say a vendor, I don't mean a huge glitzy shop with a fluorescent sign out the front. I mean a chap that sits between 2 buildings with a few bottles of water and a few pieces of fruit, and he tops up airtime These people are very entrepreneurial, and you'll find there are hundreds of these agents. In fact, there are tens of thousands. We've got 1.2 million access in South America alone. So there are millions, in fact, of these people. So this is how the mobile operators top up phones. Is someone takes cash to this person, that person is carrying a float of minutes that they bought for normally a 10% discount, so they've got a margin. You pay your cash to that person, you buy top up minutes, and they SMS them to you. But from the operator's perspective, if you could buy those minutes directly, you've got an instantaneous uplift in profitability, and more importantly, you start distinguishing yourself from your competitors. Some of these people travel a long way to be able to top up their phone. So that they may come from a different village or a different town, and they actually have to travel quite a way to top up their particular phone. Or even just from out wherever they live, it might only be 10 or 15 minutes away, but realistically that's still an inconvenience in comparison to topping up wherever you are. So that's how it all started. And then we've realized that the unbanked gives us so much more opportunity, and that is to become what we call an enablement currency. I mean, so I'm sorry this is such a long answer, but it's such a big and important thing.
No, it's important.
These people are, generally speaking, living in a degree of poverty as far as the West is concerned, at least. They might not consider themselves living in poverty, I might add, and they certainly don't consider themselves to be unbanked. That's a term coming entirely from the West. We call them unbanked. They would just call themselves people, entrepreneurs. They're used to using cash. They don't think of themselves as lacking anything. But when you give them something new, which is a digital payment method, what you're actually doing is you're unlocking something for them. So obviously you're unlocking the ability to buy your mobile minutes, but then we're looking at the much bigger picture, which is you're unlocking access to the world economy, which is something they've never ever had. So then if to spread that, or to broaden my picture of what that means, if you have these people in the developing nations, they have young people that are super bright, right? People are born all around the world. They are ridiculously bright people, but that doesn't mean that they have the opportunity to do anything with that. So they can learn to code, they can learn to make videos, they can learn to do data research, they can learn to make social posts on other people's behalf. They can do all sorts of things. They just need to learn to do it. And the reason they haven't learned to do it is because they haven't got anyone to sell that skill to. Whereas if you give them the ability to accept money from America, for instance, money from anywhere, of course, but if you imagine the Americans are desperately in need of social content, there's hundreds of thousands, millions of companies in America whose social feeds are dull. They could do with sprucing up, and those companies would be super happy to spruce up those social feeds with images and videos and great stuff, but they haven't got anyone to create it at a reasonable price. Well, suddenly these guys who've got the ability to do that and in an unbelievable way, be creative, make videos, make stop frame animations or whatever they do on their phone, they could sell it to the guys in America. They've never been able to do that before. So they could top up their income by selling digital skills. So these millennial entrepreneurs in these developing nations have suddenly got access to Western money and the global economy for the first time ever. And that's where we're really excited to take it, because not only are we looking to get millions of users, tens of millions of users, in fact, we've already got millions, right? So tens of millions, hopefully hundreds of millions of users through the deals with mobile operators. We're also really excited to be bringing something completely new to these people. And if we can take someone who's only earning $50 a month and give them 1 gig job, a digital job worth $5 a month, you've given them a 10% increase in their earnings. It's an enormous change to their life. If you take someone who's earning $150 and they do 3 of those jobs in a whole month, you've still given them a 10% increase in the money that they earn. So you can make real difference to these people's lives by introducing cryptocurrency, and that's the fundamental difference between trying to introduce cryptocurrency to you. You know, you've got a pocket full of other ways to pay. And if you want to go off and do gig economy work, you can, right? Because you've got a bank. If you go to the unbanked, you are accessing somebody who's never touched digital transfers before. They've never had access to the West and the money there before. So you're unlocking this economy. And there's a document by PricewaterhouseCoopers that talks about the size of that market, and they see it as a $3 trillion market, the unbanked, if you can get access to that, both sides of the equation. And that's the thing that we're bringing with cryptocurrency.
That's that. I just want to amplify on that as well, like connecting the unbanked with the banked through the gig economy, and it's just amazing. I mean, like you said, these people walk miles and miles just to get airtime on their smartphones, which they do have.
Yeah, massive.
But they don't have a bank account. Now all of a sudden they can spend that time, because some people walk hours to go buy their airtime to be able to spend time online, and they can use that time to be more productive, maybe doing something on a gig economy website.
Yeah, and that's only the first step, of course. So that's how we start trying to introduce this into their economy. So we've got mobile data, the mobile operators we're dealing with in these different zones can accept ETN. So that's sort of step one. Gig economy is sort of step two, because we don't just want to give money to them they spend on their airtime. That's really not an effective way to get a currency to grow. So we've given them the ability to earn cryptocurrency. So now it's in their system. And then what we've got a whole series of packs that we're developing that explains to them how they can convince some of their suppliers to accept ETN as a digital payment. So if they are the man who's the hole in the wall, as they called, the chap that sells things, if some of his suppliers will accept ETN, then you start getting this circle of ETN, like money does. You get a money flow, an ETN flow. Velocity of money, yeah. So we've got a much bigger plan than let's just do this one thing or this two things. It gets much bigger, and there's lots of other things you can do. Of course, remember that. So there are 350 million plus smartphone users who are unbanked. So remember that all these games that people play online. So you look at some of the biggest games that get played, and the revenue they generate is enormous. They would love to be in this economy, but they've got no way of paying for those games. Now, at the moment, it would probably be, in fact, it is against Google and Apple's terms and conditions to accept payments in a game, except by using the payment provision of Apple and Google. But that doesn't mean that down track, when this is a success, as I'm sure it will be, Apple or Google don't go, hang on a second, we're opening up a massive revenue stream from these people just by saying, oh, actually, you can use ETN in that. Because if you've got users, you will find corporate deals. Subject to one other thing that we can probably talk about another time, which is KYC. But subject to that, these big corporates need KYC in place, and we're working on that too. But it's going to be a much bigger thing. I think people only think of the first step, and there's a step, and then there's a step, and then there's a step. But all these things are like a wedge. You drive it in, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And with the first step is to get a device that enables them to make the transfers. That's all done. Then the next step is to get some of it in their hands so that they're encouraged to use it. Give them the first place to pay, which is your mobile operators. Once they can start paying for that, give them a way to earn some more. And we've got a whole ecosystem planned.
So the thing is, with the like you said, with giving people a taste of what this currency is like with the mobile miner. Just before going to the next question, just want to go into a little bit more on that. In terms of the mobile miner, a lot of people don't understand why it is so important. Yeah. People are saying, oh, well, it's just simulated. Yeah. You don't want your phone to fry. I mean, all these other mobile miners that are now useless via Google and Apple's new guidelines that have just come out. That puts ETN at a huge advantage. What are your thoughts on those that say about the mobile?
Remember that, so first of all, just for people who don't necessarily understand exactly what the mining does. So if you've got a traditional, if you can call anything in crypto traditional, but proof of work miners are not, so they're the ones that keep the blockchain running. So this is a distributed ledger system. So everybody who is running a node on the system doesn't necessarily have to be a miner, but the people that run the nodes, they've got the distributed ledger. But the actual miners, the people that put the blocks together, they have to prove that they are real, effectively, for the algorithm to be happy that you've got this distribution. And the way that that's been done is with this thing called proof of work. You know all this, so I'm just saying this for the benefit of the viewers. So proof of work shows that you've completed a task. And when you've completed that task, it knows that you're a real person, or you've got a real piece of equipment that's doing the job. So that's it, but it's not done anything. The actual breaking of the block doesn't actually do anything to the blockchain. So a lot of people think that this calculation that's taking place is actually something critical to the blockchain, like the cryptography of the blockchain itself. But it isn't. It's just trying to break a hash. It's trying to break something where you've got a difficulty window that goes, difficulty number that goes up and down based on the number of miners, and It's effectively just an algorithm just to make sure that people are individuals. That's all it's for. So those miners are being rewarded for that. And rightly so, because once you've got this distributed system, you've got protection from attack, because any system that's distributed has to be protected. And the way that the system works is protection through proof of work. Now, what we wanted is we wanted people to have access to some coins. Now, other people have done this in a similar way, but not through a mobile miner. So for instance, if we pick Dash, for instance, I like Dash. Dash is a good coin. So Dash takes 1/3 of what the miners create, doesn't go to the miner, it goes back to Dash to use in projects. So it's an almost identical system to that we've got 1/3 of the money that would go to the miner is stored to use for projects. In this case, the project is giving some to people that are using the app to encourage the use of the app. So it's a long-winded way of saying effectively the mobile mining is a marketing system that drives viral growth. And we know that it has driven viral growth. Lots and lots of people try it. Not everyone stays on using it, because $3 to a lot of the people that are users isn't enough money for them to bother staying around and mining it again and again.
Exactly.
But our target market, and I think it's important to remember that we haven't yet opened fully to our target market. So we're lining up all of our technology and we're getting everything in place to go live with everything in place. And people are sort of judging us as if we're all live, and we're not all live yet. So these people, our target audience, sure, there are unbanked people right now that can earn $3 a month with our mobile miner, but what are they going to do with it? Until the mobile operators are rolled out and they can actually spend it, there's less chance of people actually sitting there bothering to leave their phone mining something that they literally can't do anything with. And in the West, you could have opened an exchange account and cashed that in. But if you're unbanked, you can't open an exchange account and cash it in. So the reality of it is we haven't really even opened the doors yet. So whilst we've only been up to a couple of 100,000 mobile miners, that number will grow hugely once people can actually use it for a real world transaction. But to answer the question, the mobile miner is a sort of a simulated proof of work, but it just talks to our servers, and our servers issue it some money, or ETN I should say. So why will we do that? The answer is viral growth, and because this person is more likely to tell the next person about it than if it's just an app. If you look at the growth of an app that has no particular, it's just a wallet app, the chance of you telling your friend about a wallet app, oh, have you tried ETN? What is it? It's a wallet app. How do I use it? Well, you use this. Now you have to try and do a gig in a gig economy. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, get this. Well, it's going to give you some free money. You know, suddenly you got this viral growth, and we know it works. We've seen this huge viral growth spread. We've got the tracking system in place to know that the viral growth works. So when we drop this into different places, we will see monster viral growth in those places because we've already seen it already. And we're a whisker off, as we do this interview, a whisker off 1 million official downloads of the Android app. So
that's
Apple's
massive.
a whisker one. Yeah, it's a lot. It's
downloads
a
a million. It's
I
a
think
big deal.
it's a fraction of a percent of apps ever get 1 million downloads. There's not many apps. It might be, I think it's probably less than 1% of all apps. I think in fact it might even be a fraction of a percent of all apps ever manage to get 1 million installs. And that's just the start. We'll go to the next milestone of 2 million and 3 million and up to 5 million. You know, these things are going to happen because I'm really confident that mobile mining, or the ability to get some coins, is the important part. Whether it's called mobile mining or it's called an airdrop or however you describe it, getting some cryptocurrency into someone's hands is a bit like a free sample. You know, if you have a free sample of some washing detergent come through your door, well, that company has had to spend money on that. It's real money's worth of product. It's delivered to you. They don't want to give you washing powder. They just want you to experience that washing powder because you then may well start using it. Well, that's not dissimilar. We start handing something out which then gets people involved in cryptocurrency that would never have got involved before. So they get involved in cryptocurrency, they understand what it does, they understand its value. Now I want more because $3 isn't enough, right? I want it to change my life. So how do I get it to change my life? Well, actually now these other avenues are open. So you can convince people to get it into their part of the supply chain. You can go and do some gigs in the gig economy, etc.
Awesome stuff. So that was part one, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed it. As you can see, Richard Ells, you can see his confidence. You can see his knowledge and you can see his belief and confidence that what they are doing is going to succeed. I'm going to stop it here. First episode, I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the All About Tech YouTube channel. There's so much more content to come this week from the Q&A session, so make sure you stick around for that. Share it, and I will catch you guys out in the next video. Peace out.